It started at exactly 2:17 a.m., a slow, dragging sound from upstairs. But there's one problem. I live alone, no neighbors above me, no attic, no second floor. And every night, the sound gets closer. The dead of night was a thick, heavy blanket over the old house, one Leo had hoped would bring a swift and deep sleep. But silence was a luxury the house wouldn't afford him. A faint rhythmic scratching echoed down from the ceiling, a sound like tiny persistent claws scraping against dry wood. Leo rolled over, pulling the pillow over his head. It's just rats, he told himself, the unwanted but common tenants of any house this old. He tried to ignore it, to let the sound fade into the ambient creaks and groans of the settling foundation. He closed his eyes, focusing on the darkness behind his eyelids, willing his mind to drift away from the irritating noise above. The scratching was insistent, a maddening, steady rhythm that seemed to burrow directly into his skull, making the simple act of falling asleep feel like an impossible task. The scratching suddenly ceased, leaving a void of silence that was somehow more unnerving than the noise itself. Leo held his breath, listening. Then a new sound began. It was a slow, heavy dragging, the sound of something substantial being laboriously pulled across the floorboards above. It groaned and strained, as if a piece of forgotten heavy furniture was being repositioned by an unseen mover. The dragging continued for a long, agonizing minute before stopping, punctuated by a single soft thump that seemed to land right over his head. The finality of the sound sent a shiver down his spine. This was no rat. A cold knot of fear tightened in his stomach, but it was mingled with a grim determination. He wasn't going to lie here and let his imagination run wild. Grabbing the heavy metal flashlight from his nightstand, Leo swung his legs out of bed and cautiously made his way out of the bedroom, his bare feet cold against the floor. As he approached the narrow, steep stairs leading to the attic, the sounds started again, louder now, more deliberate, as if aware of his approach. He crept up the stairs one by one, each step groaning under his weight, betraying his presence. The dragging sound from above was now a clear, resonant scrape, echoing in the confined stairwell. It was a sound full of effort and intention. He reached the small landing at the top, his hand hovering over the old brass doorknob of the attic door. As his fingers brushed against the cold metal, the noise abruptly stopped. The sudden, absolute silence was deafening, making the blood pound in his ears. Taking a deep breath, he turned the knob and pushed the door open with a loud creak. He raised the flashlight, its powerful beam cutting a sharp cone of light through the thick, stagnant air. The light swept across the attic, revealing a space that was empty and coated in a century of undisturbed dust. Rafters were draped in cobwebs that shimmered like silver threads. There was nothing there. Nothing except for a single old wooden rocking chair sitting perfectly in the center of the room. And it was moving, swaying back and forth with a gentle, silent rhythm, as if someone had just stood up from it. A cold dread washed over him as he stared, mesmerized by the impossible sight of the rocking chair moving on its own. Before he could process the scene, the heavy attic door slammed shut behind him with a deafening bang that shook the very floorboards. He was plunged into absolute suffocating darkness, the flashlight beam extinguished by the impact. Panic seized him as he fumbled blindly for the doorknob, his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. And then he heard it. The slow, heavy dragging sound started again. No longer from across the room, but from right behind him, so close in the pitch-black void that he could almost feel the vibration through the floor.